Bag. I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and the producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of our presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. B1 code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. B1AG.
Welcome Black to the Garden. I'm John Henry Harris. We have Farmer Brown EMC. This is B1AG Daily Bread Podcast. Now here at the B1AG Daily Bread Podcast, we feature culture, agriculture, food, and environment. It's the cafe, y'all. Pull up a seat, set a spell, and let's have a good meal. Now, today's topic, the Farm Bill. Now, we've talked about the Farm Bill 2 years ago, and we've been following this Farm Bill. And if you go back to our previous podcast, we predicted this. But we're going to talk about the Farm Bill and how it highlights the double standards for the Black farmers. So for those not necessarily familiar with the Farm Bill, originally, the Emergency Relief Farmers of Color Act, which was signed into law in 2021, was designed to bring relief to Black farmers who were admittedly discriminated against by the USDA for 5 decades plus. $4 billion were earmarked to make these underserved farmers whole. Now, fast forward to 2023, the Farm Bill has been revised to include everybody. The goalpost has been moved and funds are not reaching those for which the bill was designed. Now, I want y'all to really imagine this, y'all. They designed this Farm Bill because the USDA admitted, yes, we've discriminated against Black farmers for over 5 decades. We intentionally blocked them from funding. We stole their land. We admit this. We're so sorry. So what we're going to do is we're going to give y'all $4 billion to make this right. And then they changed the game. Farmer Brown, what do you got to say?
First, I just like to say peace to the B1 family. Hope everybody's doing well. Also, send a congratulations to the Deep South LSU women's basketball team for the championship. Shout out to the sister Angel Reese. When I woke up this morning, my timeline was full of sisters. You know, they have a new icon, Angel Reese. There was this double standard. There was this girl, Caitlin Clark on Iowa. She had a hand gesture, basically signifying, you know, sports is a competitive sport, signifying, yeah, I want the ring. And it was touted as, yes, she's a competitor. You know, she's a queen, so to speak. Real positive connotation. But when it came to Angel Reese, oh, she's hood. That's disrespectful, unsportsmanlike, expressing the same sentiment. And so when we talk about this concept of double standard, we understand that not only did the last 3 years, the pandemic, it created a need for farmers to get help. And so not regardless of the color you were going to need help because there was a new pandemic affecting food systems, affecting distribution, things of that nature. And so once again, when we think about double standards, all farmers were hurt by the events of the last 3 years. And the government even actually came out and said, y'all melanated farmers, y'all been hurt for decades at our hand. But it only took a handful of Caitlin Clarks saying, no, this is reverse racism to change this whole dynamic around where it's almost as if to say, well, the Black farmers, y'all are complaining. Y'all are asking for too much. Getting demonized for asking what was promised. But once again, I look forward to deep diving a little bit into this double standard conversation. And not just to talk about the problem here at B1AG, we talk about solutions, the family. This word reparations keeps popping up in the language, keeps popping up. Some states have gone as far as actually introducing it as possible legislation. And we got people within the ranks that's like, no, no, we don't need it. We don't need it. So saying that to say this is a conversation that could go around in years. And when we first started talking about this, reparations had just come up. So 2 years later, we want to take this brief moment of your time to really go over to this timeline of now, what if this is what reparations is going to look like? The government comes out and says, yes, I did you wrong and I owe you something. And we're in a crisis, so everybody needs help. And so that owe you something turns into where we're just going to break bread with everybody. We had to have some conversations about this double standard, family.
Now, another reason why this is important, because if you look into the Black community, obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, all these health problems that are directly tied to our diets, what we eat. But here in America, Black farmers represent 1.3% of all American farmers. And 80% of the land was lost by Black farmers from 1910 to 2007. So all these health issues that we have, which are directly tied to the food, and we don't produce this food. So I hope you can kind of see the reason why it's very important that we support our Black farmers and we get our children and more, and we re-energize that business sector with us, because we need to create and be able to procure our own food. You know, that's one of the foundations of wealth building. You know, food, clothing, and shelter. Those are 3 pillars in wealth building, and we must be able to feed ourselves.
It was bittersweet this morning when I seen all the joy about, a lot of people, especially Black Twitters, posting like, do y'all see the double standard? Right? That's been the narrative, and it's great. It's like Surrey being the Black Panther. It's great seeing these wins, but the agricultural part of my mind is like, now where is the apple basket? Now that people got this, you have people's attention. People are aware that yes, there's this double standard in this thing called basketball and hand signs. In my mind, I'm like, hey, there's a huge double standard that affects not only economy, but affects people's diets. The same dynamic exists in agriculture, and there's no smoke for that. You think about a state like Louisiana, that's actually where my family's from. 7% of their farmers are what you call African-American and melanated. And it's like when you have people's attention like it, these are opportunities to take action. I'm a person, okay, yeah, now that we've articulated what the problem is, now what do we do about it? And so when we think about with LSU, okay, we've acknowledged like, hey, there's a disparity in how they talked about, contextualized this hand gesture. Oh, that's wrong. Millions of people around the world saw it. Fortunately, in many ways, many people are now talking about it. But at the end of all of it, LSU is an institution that is not ran by melanated people. Is there this same smoke for, okay, what are the double standards that apply to the, say, Black colleges or HBCUs in the state of Louisiana, where 7% of their farmers are melanated and have been disenfranchised by this very activity that the USDA admitted was a problem? Is there going to be a groundswell of support? Like right now, how can you support Angel Reese outside of just tweeting? Yeah. Is there a bag to be like, I support this because I see there's a double standard. This is how I can help you, sister, or this is how I can help you. Is there a basket for that? And saying that in the sense when we think about what we Black farmers, is there a bag, so to speak? Is there an apple cart to put apples in to help these farmers? When you realize that there's disparities, when you understand that the government, you're not going to get any higher than government other than the Most High. And I mean, the Most High is exacting justice as we speak. But as people here, we have a responsibility. Are we galvanizing our efforts and energies around these Black farmers? It's not being disparaging of any other group, but every animal, every living thing on this planet that exists is responsible for feeding itself. And this is on a rudimentary level. How can I, as a tiger, get mad at the lion if he's not going to hunt and bring it back to me? How can I get mad at the lion if he's stacked his court of public opinion full of other lions? Their interest is always going to be in the interest of a lion. And so how much time am I going to waiting for these lions to decide that, yeah, we've got to make sure these tigers eat too? When we think about this USDA farm bill, it was built around the struggle of black farmers. When we think about college sports, making this analogy, it was built around the athletics of black players. Black players' aggression, you think of Ron Artest in the NBA, Latrell Sprewell, even LeBron, you see there's this constant thing of wanting, I need to put you in place. I need you to be heel, stop. But white athletes, performers, hey, you're great, you're competitive, right? When you apply that to agriculture, there's this constant, now y'all just wait while we figure this out when it comes to agriculture. I know a couple of farmers personally that when that happened in 2021, they were waiting for the debt relief. They planned their operations around, okay, well, yeah, the government just came out and said that they're gonna issue $4 billion in debt relief. Since that time, the Ukraine has gotten triple that for tanks that they're not going to see for another few years. While these black farmers who the government admitted were discriminated against, and this is a very small percentage, still didn't get that piece. So what I'm saying to the melanated family, are we working on baskets just in case this other conversation of reparations continues to get kicked down the road, only to turn into, and I hope you should pull this slide up, only to turn into the government saying, I don't owe you nothing. I didn't make no contract with you. And I think whenever you get to that slide in the actual bill, the word socially disadvantaged was used like 49 times. The word black farmer was only 10. So I'm using the struggle of one group to justify getting the bag for every other group.
And just to put this into context very quickly, 75% of people live on 3% of the land. If you want to know how big of an acre is 43,560 square feet. 200 square feet per individual annually produce consumption. 800 square feet is needed per average family. There's 1.9 billion acres, lower 48 in the continental United States. 3 million acres are made for vegetable production. 788 million acres are for livestock production.
The demographic you showed earlier, black farmers in the early 1900s had 15% of this, to where now we have less than 1.3 family. Can somebody say affirmative action? Can somebody say civil rights? Is this progress? Yeah. Hey, y'all, it's a double standard, but is this progress when this is what we're looking at when we talk about wealth building? You can't eat a jump shot. This about sports. You get a trophy, you can't eat that. I was on this winning team. That trophy's going to be in somebody's locker case. And I go back to my community. Yeah, so this
is the actual farm bill written on it. When we first get Farmer Brown actually wrote on it when it first came out. And go ahead and tell them what you wrote. This is 2 years ago.
And so at this time, I was working at an institution that receives 2501 money. And this is basically a grant. And this is the definition from 1990. Socially disadvantaged means African American, which in and of itself is questionable, Indian, Alaskan, Asian, Hispanic, Pacific Islander, refugees. Can somebody say Ukrainian or Afghani immigrants? So all of these groups fall within socially disadvantaged. Am I disparaging or discounting the struggles of people within these groups? Absolutely not. But this bill was based on the discrimination against what we call black farmers here in North America. That's what the case was made. Hey, there's a struggle going on. They'll remember at the beginning of the pandemic, certain groups dying more, so we got to give them some money. We got to help them out. And so during the course of the bill, and we asked the family, if you're interested in seeing more of this, just email us at B1AG hiphop@gmail.com. We'll send you a full document. But throughout this bill, socially disadvantaged was referred to 49 times. So I'm building in the first few pages on the struggle of the black farmers, but the rest of the bill is based on building it towards socially disadvantaged. Where we fast forward now to 2023, black farmers is eradicated from the conversation. And this was only $4 billion. This is not a lot of money, family. $1 billion goes into $1 trillion 1,000 times. Some of the research that's been done into the reparations, I've heard from 3 to 21 million. I don't feel, me personally, I don't feel like what's been taken can completely be paid in fiat. There's a fiat reparation, but then there's so many other. But for the sake of B1AG, we like to keep this around food. And so when you think about the essence of this farm bill was supposed to be to help those that produce food. And black farmers don't just produce food for black people, they produce food for everybody that eats. So when we think about this $1 trillion industry and how this particular group of farmers have been left out, this is why we continuously have to have this conversation. Hey, we need that same smoke that everybody had for the young lady with the hand sign. Because right now, like you said, 80% of the black farmland is being lost. There's tangible support needed for that. The amount of time, we send cash apps and things like that to our favorite entertainers. Our black farmers need this help because it's not coming from the people on the highest level that said they were going to send it. And so I would ask the melanated family out here, I don't know all the answers, but where would this help come from if it doesn't come from the family? Guilt dollars only go so far. You think about everything that's happened from 2021. You think about the George Floyd riots. You think about all of the upheavals, political upheavals that have lightweight distracted us. There's these small aesthetic wins. Yeah, we got the first black this, the first woman that, first black this. But when it came to the tangible thing of land, the one resource that was valuable in the very beginning, we keep losing. At what point do we expand our conversation when we think about this concept of double standards?
This is very important. The farm bill. Could you imagine? Let's say you won a lawsuit, and you were awarded $4 billion. So now that it's time for you to receive the money for your lawsuit, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pay everybody who suffered from the same affliction that you did. You won the lawsuit, but they're going to pay everybody else first.
What happened? How was they?
And they may, more likely not, get to you.
How was they able to pull this off, right? In 2021, everybody was clapping their hands. Yeah, they finally recognized they did us wrong. Shared it, tweeted it, and we were talking about this, bro. Shared it, tweeted it. Oh, we got a victory. Now back to whatever I'm doing. Yeah, the black farmer thing's cute. Now back to what I'm doing. And over the 2 years, slowly, because I got y'all's attention elsewhere, this is the language I'm going to introduce. And y'all are worried about March Madness. Y'all are worried about, who broke up with who. Y'all are all of these other things other than the tangible asset of land and the space to produce food. These are real things, family. My thing is fact check me. I wish somebody would come and prove us wrong about this conversation. But this is what's going on. And, once again, with these farmers, there were operations that are going to be shut down now or have already been shut down based on assuming that the government was going to follow through what they said they were doing this for. It was only a handful of white farmers that said, oh, this is reverse discrimination. How can you discriminate against us? It only took a handful. And that's what stopped it in the courts, in the Supreme Courts. And suddenly in 2023, and this is March, the government is rejecting the claim. I reject your statement. Y'all don't care. Y'all are turned up. Y'all are worried about sports. Y'all are worried about all these other things, entertainment news. And so this is, what was this, March? It was last month. And it's just slid under the radar. He didn't have all the shares and tweets. Shout out to the elder John Boyd. He's still fighting the fight. But you're fighting $1 trillion industry with somebody that needs help. How effective of a fight is that going to be?
And the funny thing is, The black farmers were awarded this money. This was like passed by Congress. And they actually tried to sue the government to receive the monies that were owed to them. And this is from Reuters. Black and other farmers of color filed a class action lawsuit against the U.S. government, claiming the recent repeal of debt relief program that targeted them amounts to a breach of contract by the government. The suit comes as the U.S. Department of Agriculture is set to roll out an amended debt relief program passed as part of the Inflation Reduction Act in August, and that allocates relief based on economic need other than race. But the entire lawsuit in the heart of the bill was to make these black farmers whole who had their land stolen and were locked and blocked away from financial assistance and programs that were freely made available to other farmers, not black.
Riddle me this, bro. Okay, maybe there's a mistake, but I think you shared an infographic that 97% of agricultural jobs and operations are going to be automated. So riddle me this. Do you think that these people plan on, okay, at some point I'm going to eventually, get these people right? Or do you think it's more leaning towards, no, I'm just going to replace you before I pay you?
That's what it
I don't know.
is.
Riddle me this. I don't know.
We just recently did a podcast about, artificial intelligence taking all the jobs. And if you look at farm labor, 97%. So this is not just affecting black farmers. The black farmers are gonna feel the brunt the most because they're already put in a disadvantaged position. But all farmers, all Americans, everyone who eats is going to be affected by artificial intelligence and being replaced basically of that touch and being able to pick the ripest fruits, and all that's going to be done by artificial intelligence. And that is an issue.
What can I do about it? I live in the city. What can I do about it? I ain't in the ag. Every time I've ever tried to grow something, it died. What we can do in 2023 is make this the year, if you already haven't, that you take some time, a couple minutes out the week to just learn up about agriculture, just the business of it. Some of the business-minded people out there, you'll capitalize. This is a very open field of opportunity. And also food systems. I want the family to understand where the food system is going if we don't take this part of human activity serious. We know Bill Gates owns 269,000 acres of prime farmland. He's a computer guy. I will give it, there are a lot of families, groups starting to buy land, but we need to exponentially increase this conversation, family. Gardening is cute. It's a great hobby to have, right? A great way to pass the time in the summer, growing some lilies. But we really need to start thinking about urban agriculture. How do we produce in these cities? With in mind, this isn't just a hobby. We need to practice creating an economy. How do we create miniature or mini Black Wall Streets that are self-sustainable when it comes to food production within the cities where we find ourselves at? This is feasible. Like you said, this switch to automation is going to affect all people in North America that eat, not just North America, but around the world. Right now in 2023, we can still go to a hardware store and pick up some barrels, some containers, some PVC pipes, some seed. We can still make connections, make a call, get to learn some local farmers, learn from them. Hey, can I come out to your farm and help you? Can I donate to your farm? I'll send $50 cash apps or whatever people send on Facebook or whatever to my favorite entertainer. But can we make it rain on some of these black farmers? Just helping them. This is a start. This is something that we can do right now. There's a lot of cool groups on social media right now where people talk about gardening. I think Corey Goo, What It Do, my man Malcolm Steele. Think about Duval Black Farmers. That's just to name a few down your way. Up here in Kentucky, we got Black Soil KY. There's a lot of movements around the country where people are getting it. But family, this ain't gonna work unless we have a critical mass of melanated people who eat and value the concept of access to healthy food This has to be something that we talk about. It can't just be a passing timeline, because you see what'll happen if it's just a passing timeline. I'm gonna wait you out about 2 years and see. And if we let this go on with the black farmers, reparations is done, family. Reparations is done. We already see that it's people advocating against reparations already now. And so what is that going to do? That's going to create this little ball of contention where it's going to distract people. It don't matter how much sense and logic you're bringing to the table. If we're arguing amongst ourselves about these things, I'm just going to kick the can down the road. There's going to be some other world event that's going to take y'all's attention. The next thing you know, I don't know, reparations. We brought one of y'all leaders, one of our the assigned leaders. We give you to lunch. We paid them off, and we don't owe y'all nothing now. Debt resolved now. Y'all get it how you live. What position in 2023 are we doing to make sure that that's not the end game?
And also, just look at this is the framework. This is how they do. With them not, basically changing the rules, moving the goalposts, having this double standard, they are literally taking food out of our mouths. They're taking food out of our mouths. Like, why would you not want to help these black farmers? Because all they're going to do is help create more food for everybody. Maybe they don't want food for everybody. This is a conversation that we definitely need to continue, and we need to support our black farmers. We need to support all agriculture. We need to restore our interest in agriculture. There are over 40,000 jobs that are unfilled each year in agriculture due to just not knowing or disinterest. There's work in agriculture, and it's not just you digging in the dirt. Everything that every industry needs, accountants, lawyers, whatever, they need this in agriculture as well. And there is a bag waiting for you for that work.
No shade to none of the brothers and sisters who do content. I'm a content consumer, right? It helps me get through the day. But I've seen some brother, I think about your Kevin Samuels, Larry. People have the ability to coalesce and support people, is the point I'm getting to. For some people, it's nothing to get 50,000 in cash apps, donations. I think about your Hassan Campbell. That's cool. I'm not here to pocket watch. But putting it in perspective, that is something we consume. Entertainment, news, commentary is great. I love it. But we need that same energy for black farmers. Like I said, I'm not here to direct anybody in one particular way, more so than if you care about it, you find your favorite content creators. You're going to scroll through Google. You're going to find your favorite content creators. And so I'm challenging the family, find a producer. Shoot them a cash app. Shoot her a cash app. Subscribe to a CSA subscription. Find out where their markets are. If you're somebody that's good at business, help these people find more people to sell their products to. If you're somebody that understands real estate, help some young people that might have some extra cash or extra money to get some land. When we think about the concept of investment, I've never heard of land crashing. I've never heard of land being inflated. Like, land is land. How do we make sure, here at B1AG, we're really focused on the youth education aspect of it. How do we make sure that we have a replacement force that after whatever little hand trick is going on, we still got enough, the critical mass of melanated folks that's like, we take this serious. We understand this is a part of our culture. We understand if we're ever going to attain the wealth that we deserve, that the Most High has sprinkled this planet with opportunities, if we're ever going to attain it, we have to work for it. I've never seen gold that just popped up out the ground. Somebody had to dig it. And see, our advantage is our ancestors dug this agricultural gold a long time ago. This is how civilization was able to begin, when we were able to produce food, fuel, and fiber in one location and do it continuously to where we could then enjoy the arts, enjoy entertainment. And so it's getting back to the basics. And that starts with just supporting those who produce the food. And then in turn, wherever we're at, home, apartment, townhouse, produce some of our own. make a salad or two. You might just grow a salad this year, but it's a start. It's a start in understanding this food system and understanding that this is the last bastion of freedom, family, is the ability to feed yourself. The farmers are the last stand of independence when it comes to melanated people. You can be a millionaire. We were talking about the Fed coin or the Fed now. You can be a millionaire. And we're going into a time, currencies change over time, right? But we're going into a time where currency's changing. And so there's an AI robot somewhere right now that could push a button and your millions are gone. Yeah, I'll credit you with 10,000 Fed nows. Do something. You're going to attack the robot? I've let you know what my government's doing. I'm not going to help y'all. Y'all are on y'all's own. I ain't make a contract with y'all. But I believe in the melanated family. We can pull one of these when it comes to ag. We can become athletes, ag stars.
And we need to. We have to. Because at the end of the day, we all got to eat. We all have to eat. And don't forget that. We all have to eat. Growing up in South Georgia, my grandfather was a farmer. So, I never had to worry about food. We never thought about, oh, I'm hungry. We always have. We had so much food that we were always able to give food away to feed other families. There was no sweat off our back. Because we have so much food and it's gonna spoil. So you might as well give it to somebody. Just basic survival skills, y'all. We got to get, like I said, back to the basics. You got to get back to the essence of what true living is. We've gotten comfortable thinking we can just go buy everything. That's over the last couple of years we've seen in real life, that's not always going to be available. That can be challenged. And even more recently, $9 for some eggs. Eggs? Not even organic eggs. These are the processed eggs. Eggs? $9? If that wasn't a wake-up call. So y'all, the double standards. The Farm Bill highlights double standards for Black farmers. This money was for them. The bill was created for them. When it's time to pay out, they distributed the money somewhere else. It's the same. It's the same game they've been running. So we need to come together, learn how to feed ourselves, relearn how to feed ourselves, and for those that do, that are farming, support and help. Find a Black farmer near you. This is one of the most comprehensive list of Black farmers in this country. It's also, I put it in the comment section of this live broadcast. Find a Black farmer near you and shop with them. Learn how to do this yourself. Start with a styrofoam cup, some dirt, and one seed. Plant it, water it, watch it grow. Just start somewhere. Small scale, localized food production equals food security. Equals food security. That means we all gonna eat. So here at B1AG, this is the cafe. Community, agriculture, food, and environment. I hope you enjoyed this conversation over this meal. It's a healthy meal. And here at B1AG, we are pushing the Black algorithm. We're pushing the Black algorithm. We're pushing agriculture, and we're pushing agriculture for us. We're the most hungry. So, at the end of the day, Farmer Brown At the end of the day, if you really want to know something, what do the people need to do, bro?
If you really want to know something, it all starts with a seed. Let's learn how to grow something.
Pushing the black algorithm. Ancestors, they mastered the systems. We raising young bosses, no victims. Planting that knowledge curriculum. Blessing the roots with the nutrients. The darker the berry, like Nubian. Dropping receipts like I'm Julian. The streets with that food like Peruvian. Trapping the herbs and the fruits and the veggies. CSA boxes, my package is heavy. Ship across town in the bed of my Chevy. Printing them up, growing hard, but that baby. If you stay ready, you ain't gotta scramble. Bet on black farmers and growers, no gamble. Reclaiming our bankers, the gamers in shambles. Blessed with that melanin, carry the miracle. Mothers and fathers of civilization. Black to the garden with through cultivation. Building back better through black innovation. B1 community growing the nation. Genetically designed to be the dopest. Stoking that growth mindset. Codified, now we focus. Farming on track on track. Feed the fam, break bread with them. Pushing that B1AG algorithm. Now watch me get them, watch me get them. Pushing that B1AG algorithm. Feed the fam, break bread with them. Pushing that B1AG algorithm. Watch me get them, watch me get them. Pushing that B1AG algorithm.
Thank y'all for joining us here at B1AG Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris. We have Farmer Brown, the MC. See you at the next meal, y'all. Peace.